G'day, I'm Mark from Self-Sufficing Me, and in this video I'm going to take you through our filleting station. Let's get out there. I think if you're really serious about fishing, you want an outdoor, or well, it could be in a shed I suppose, but I'd say it's best outdoor filleting station, because if you're going to catch some serious fish, you want a serious area to be able to fillet them. If you're trying to do it in the kitchen with the missus around and you're throwing scales all over the place, she's not going to be happy and you're going to end up cleaning it up. So with fish scales and fish guts and all that type of manly stuff, getting your hands dirty, I do recommend you invest in an outdoor filleting station. It doesn't have to be really expensive, but we're going to take you through ours, which probably adds up to a little bit, but we did it in stages, so it didn't seem like it was that much overall. To start off with, what I did was I got online, and stainless steel is pretty expensive, as you know, and it's going up and up. But you can get commercial benches and that all properly made and even delivered whole, and it's cost thousands, literally thousands of dollars. Now I can't remember the exact price for it, and it's probably going to change anyway, but I got this from a flat pack stainless steel company. I think it's Flat Pack Benches Australia or flatpackstainlesssteel.au, something like that, and it does come flat packed. I didn't film assembling this, I just filmed the after, because quite frankly it was really easy. It just sort of slotted into place, and there was a few nuts and bolts to screw it together, and that was it. So being a little bit DIY challenged, once I got this together, I didn't do the plumbing. I actually paid for a plumber to come out and put in the taps and do that professionally, because I just knew that I would stuff it up, and it didn't cost much for them. I supplied, of course, the materials. They just piped it all together. Initially, what we did was just run a hose out the bottom of the drain here. And it was just a clear hose, and we run it out on top of the concrete, just into the grass here, to go down and pretty much water and fertilize at the same time this big mulberry tree. But what we found, of course, was it looked untidy, and it was a trip hazard, and you couldn't roll a wheelbarrow or drive my filleting vehicle in here carrying my esky. So I needed to find another way, and so what I did was, me plumber Mark put the hose down this way, and I run it against the wall, and I made sure that I had a drop on it so that the water wouldn't bank up, and so that it flowed all the way out down past the shed here. But then what happened was it was running into the neighbour's yard, which wasn't very nice. I talked to our builder who was doing our renos at the time, and he said, "Mark, I can cut you a drain." So that's what we did. He spoke to the plumber and all that, and we cut through the concrete. Well, they did cut through the concrete, and you can see now it's plumbed properly, professionally, from here into the drain, and plumbed along here, and this is where we cut out. We dug a trench underneath the concrete path, and it then comes out to here where it drips out and then goes into the mulberry tree. This bench comes with two taps, so I've got this one here, and that's a hot and cold water tap. We'll get to the hot water system soon. And then this one here is mainly used, well, I can use it to water my plants because it's got a long hose on it, but it's mainly used for just washing down the bench and the cutting board. One thing that we didn't anticipate, because we're using our tank water, you get some sediment in the bottom of the tank, and what happened was, especially through the hot water system, the sediment was clogging up the hot water system about every 3 months or so, and that wasn't working too good. So what I asked the plumber to do was find a solution, and the solution was, see this here, that's an inline filter, nice big filter. It filters the calcium and the minerals and the water and the sediment out of the water, and then it makes that, obviously you don't get the clogging up, and all we have to do is change that filter every now and again. You just wash it out, and it probably lasts a couple of years, but when it gets too dirty and too buggered, well, then you can just change them. I think they're about 15 bucks a filter to change, but they'll last quite a while. Really easy to change and take off and all that, so I'm pretty happy with the way that's working. But I'll show you putting on the tap and show you the spluttering. Stand back. Crikey, that's hot. So it's actually not that hot. It's a pretty cool winter's day. We've got it on about, I think it's about 50 degrees. It's not like scalding. You don't need that for if you want to fill a crab pot or something like that, if you're going to boil up some crabs, or if you want to indeed use some hot water, wash your hands, use some soap, because this area can get fairly dirty and it actually gets fatty from filleting the fish. The fat forms around here, the scales go into the sink, and you know, obviously you scoop them out. One of these types of plugs are really good. It allows the water to go through and it traps the scales so that you can just pull this out and it doesn't clog up your drainage at all. This little system here didn't cost much at all. It's only a small, I can't remember the exact size, it's probably 40 litres or something, 40-50 litre hot water system. You can just put it on when you want to, meaning you can keep it switched off, but we tend to just leave it run because it doesn't take up that much energy and it stays warm for a long time, so it's not really constantly switching on and off, if you know what I mean. It's only getting up to temp and it holds that temp, so it's pretty cost effective. Of course, when you get your bench, it's great for filleting and all that, but then we decided that we wanted to put stuff somewhere, like our knives, so it is handy to have this floating bench, and I put that in myself. DIY Challenged Mark actually did that, and we've got our knives, sharpener, scales, and you know, whatever you want, towels and those types of things put up onto the bench. Got our knives here. I bought one of these just as a fish knife back when I was around 18, when I first joined the army, and I've still got it, and we still use it on the bait to this day, for just using it as a bait knife, or you know, murdering fish and that type of thing. It's really handy and they last forever. So now that I got my fish filleting set, I decided to get a whole set of them, which yeah, they're fairly exy, but I'll tell you what, they're a great knife. So we got that, and then you know, you get, say you go out early in the morning fishing, which most of us do, and then you're on your way back. It's usually mid-morning or getting close to lunchtime by the time you get home. If you want to fill it straight away, you've got that sun straight on your noggin, it's right overhead. So to fix that, we just put this awning over the filleting area. Just winds down. We usually keep it down about there, and that just protects you from that harsh sun. It's not really sunny today, but it's an excellent, and from some rain as well. If it's raining or whatever, it just protects you from the elements, and keeping it down too just keeps the sun off the knives and the equipment and off the bait board. Talking about bait boards, I got this one it was about half the size, and which was fine. It was made of the same type of plastic material, food grade plastic material, but it really wasn't long enough. We found that we were starting to catch bigger fish, which is a good thing, but you know, you're blunting your knives, always slipping off and maybe hitting the stainless steel. So I decided to get one cut to size, And I'll give you those details as well for those guys in Australia, but you'll probably be able to find them anywhere, wherever you are, that instead of getting the ones that are pre-cut, you can just order them to cut to size whichever you wanted. And I just made sure that I measured up, measured twice, cut once, remember that, and then I just made sure I had a bit of a few mils space, and as long as we wanted it, which was, I think this is well over 1 meter, just gives me a little bit of space on the end here. But this does pretty much as big a fish as we'll ever catch, probably. The other thing about the board is it's thick enough. I think this one here is about 20 or 24 mil. It's thick enough to just go slightly higher than the bench, because otherwise if it's too low, when you're trying to fillet, your knife's going to be hitting the stainless steel here, or it's going to be awkward. And it's better if this is raised up just slightly higher than your bench, and it makes for a more comfortable filleting board. And that's about it. That's our filleting fish station. Plenty of bench space. Really love it. It works well. Hot water system. You got your extra floating bench here. A little bit of protection from the sun so that you don't burn your scone when you've come back and you're spending hours filleting all these fish that we catch. Oh, I'm dreaming. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you give us a big fishy thumbs up. Got any questions, whack them down in the comments section, of course. And better still, if you've got some extra tips, because we're not the be all and end all, whack those tips and that down in the comments section as well. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye for now. Cheers.